Henry, thank you. Joining us live for his monthly visit is LAPD Chief Michael Moore.
Chief, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
There you are. On Tuesday, the LA Police Commissioner approved a new policy limiting what's called pretextual stops, in which officers stop someone for minor violations and then investigate them for more serious crimes. Black and Latino men disproportionately affected by these stops. Now officers have to state out loud their reasons for escalating a stop so that it's recorded on their body cams. The union that represents the LAPD, the officers, is calling the new rules a threat to public safety. They're considering a legal challenge. What's your view of that?
Well, I'm hoping to ensure that we continue to meet and talk about this to really correct the misinformation and the misunderstanding of what this policy does and doesn't do. I support this policy. I think it strikes the appropriate balance where officers are encouraged to go out and be proactive, to police and be present in neighborhoods to prevent crime, but also identify those persons responsible for committing crime. And the use of a pretext stop or stopping a person for a minor traffic violation, like an equipment violation, no front plate. While an officer has that discretion, we've asked that if they're going to do those stops, that they have additional information about why they suspect that individual may be involved in something more serious. And if they have that information, however brief it might be, remark on it and then conduct a stop. We want officers to be in our streets. We want them to be patrolling. We want them to look at and find suspicious activities that we know is occurring in our neighborhoods. And we want them to go out and conduct these type of stops. But what we're asking for is, as we look back over the last several years and we see tens of thousands of stops and fewer arrests and few instances of any type of enforcement, is we want the officers to start articulating why they're making these stops on what appear to be trivial matters, really inconsequential matters. And I have every confidence that once we go out and begin delivering the training and show the examples of what we allow for, what we're asking for, that I think that it'll allay the union's concerns, our rank and file, as well as the public. Now, this has been an issue that, as it's been discussed, we have extremes on both sides, people who believe that we shouldn't conduct any type of pretext stops, and others that believe there shouldn't be any restraint on an officer as far as if he or she wants to stop someone for whatever reason, as long as it's just some minor infraction as a violation. We think that the middle ground on this strikes the appropriate balance, and what I'm asking for from the union, as well as the rank and file, as well as our public, give us some time to now define the training, give examples, show this balanced approach, and I believe that will satisfy everyone. This is important that the officers understand that I support them, the police commission supports that they go out and that they remain proactive. What we're asking them to do is what good police work is all about, and that's communication, articulation, describe what they're doing and why they're doing it. And by every confidence I have, I'm sure that we will move forward in a productive way.
Chief, want to get your take on new details released this week from the LAPD's Inspector General, and they're shedding light on the botched detonation of illegal fireworks last summer, destroyed a part of a South LA neighborhood. According to a newly released report, the LAPD bomb squad members repeatedly ignored warnings from an expert technician who told them the plan was not safe. What can you tell us about this report and the victims and the neighborhood that's been affected by this?
Well, this was a terrible accident. It was a tragic set of circumstances, a very dangerous circumstance, with more than 16 tons of fireworks that were discovered in this residential area being stored underneath tarps in very challenging and dangerous conditions. And those officers that went there from a bomb squad that's renowned throughout the country conducted a day-long activity of recovering those and safely transporting the vast majority of fireworks. However, there was a small quantity of homemade fireworks that they deemed as unsafe to move, that just the simple moving of it could cause a spontaneous explosion. The decision was made to dispose of it there, and mistakes were made. And there's a lack of oversight, supervision, I believe, and the investigations have shown that resulted in miscalculations and errors that once that disposal took place, that containment vessel was breached, and we saw the terrible aftermath with those homes that were damaged. And by the grace of God, none of our personnel were killed by it or others in the area. That we did have injuries, both of our personnel as well as innocent residents in the area. My commitment is that we launched a top-to-bottom a review of what happened, which the Inspector General has overseen and agrees and supports not just our findings, but our actions going forward. We invited the ATF to conduct their own thorough investigation, as well as the FBI, and those have all been completed. And we've launched a series of reforms. We've strengthened the oversight, the accountability, as well as added personnel that we need in those units to ensure that the critical thinking and decision making that's done ensures that such an accident like this never happens again. What I promised to the community is that this was not something that we find acceptable in any manner, no matter what has been stored there and how dangerous that. We should have done a better job, and I'm committed to ensuring that we will going forward.
Let's talk about the crime situation in the Melrose and Fairfax districts of Los Angeles. We've had street crimes, robberies, even murder. Some of them appear to be carried out by transients, according to detectives and officers. Some of the crimes are happening 15 to 20 minutes apart within a few blocks of each other. What is the situation now? I know you've concentrated on that area.
Well, we're concentrating throughout every community that we have these hotspots or these emerging series or patterns or trends of crime, particularly violent crime. And I'm proud of is that the community is working with us and we're working with the community to identify the chronic offenders, whether they're experiencing homelessness or otherwise. We want to identify who's out here preying upon people, committing street robberies and other crimes, and we want to arrest them and bring them before the criminal justice system. And we're doing just that. What I'm confident in is, as we see these emergence of street robberies, for instance, is that our officers working with the community, using community bulletins, recognizing the availability of evidence such as videos and other types of evidence of identifying these individuals, that we're making those arrests. This crime, these increase in violence is not driven primarily by persons experiencing homelessness. Let's be clear about this. When we see the increase, particularly in robberies, we see an increase in the number of people carrying firearms. And the individuals that are primarily involved in that have prior criminal history and records, and they're not just one-time or isolated events. What we need to continue to identify them, continue to bring them before the criminal justice system, get sentenced and charge enhancements for the use of handguns and firearms. And we also need to continue to just remind our public that we are in a state today where there's some belief that in some communities that there's a lack of consequences. Continue to work with us, because we'll work with our communities to ensure their safety and also to ensure that the criminal justice system is holding these individuals accountable for these dangerous acts.
All right, Chief, we appreciate you being with us this morning. Thanks again. And you can follow Chief Moore on Twitter at LAPD Chief Moore.